We're going to need to have a meeting about what broke means now. Because Mr. Beast, according to what I just read, is broker than me. And I promise you there's not a world where that statement is factual. Nor does it exist. If it did, I'd want to find it. Lord have mercy. Let me tell you what I saw today. Hopefully you've had a good day. The story is dated January 13. I saw it in Fortune magazine. And the headline will do all the work for you. Take a listen to this one. Despite his $2.6 billion net worth, Mr. Beast says he's having to borrow cash and can't afford McDonald's. Yeah, I want you to think about that for a minute. We need to process. Is he trying to invent a new way to broke flex? What's he doing? I'm a little lost. Let's talk about what Mr. Beast has. He has a net worth of $2.6 billion. Yeah, I could have left the 0.6 part off and just said $2 billion. You'd have been like, oh, that's a lot. He runs a $5 billion entertainment empire, of which he owns more than half of, and his earnings last year were reported at $85 million. Yet he claims that he's borrowing money, he has negative money, and technically, he can't even buy McDonald's. Bro, that's not broke. That's financial performance art. Let's not kid ourselves. Man, we have different connotations of the word broke, Mr. Beast and I. Because billionaire broke and regular guy broke clearly are different. Billionaire broke is, I'm cash poor, my money is tied up, it's all on paper, and I reinvest everything. That's billionaire broke. That's what that is. He said he's spending $250 million a year on content for those channels. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, he puts out a lot of content. I'm going to tell you what, he built that empire putting together a good product, not hating on that. He's saying right now, though, that with his wedding coming up, he is borrowing money from his mother to pay for it. If I looked my mom in the face and said, Mom, I got a wedding coming up and I'm going to need to borrow some money for it, knowing I'm sitting on a pile of money and I'm worth $2.6 billion, it's not broke. That's strategic illiquidity, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, it is. Regular broke, I'd be checking my checkbook on the app every 5 to 10 minutes like it owes me money. I'm doing math while I'm ordering fries. I'm hoping the card machine is down. Regular broke is, I absolutely cannot buy McDonald's. That's why I'm here. Because if I stand here long enough, somebody will give me money and help me. Mr. Beast says, my equity doesn't buy me McDonald's in the morning. That sounds technically true. Emotionally insane, but technically true. I'll buy that. Because McDonald's has always been the place that I go when I don't want to think. I have no plans of committing to anything, and I am okay. I have accepted my financial position. That's where I'm at. I don't go to McDonald's when things are good. I go there when things aren't great. And also, Mr. Beast, you shouldn't walk into McDonald's talking about equity. That's not conversation normal for McDonald's. In fact, if you're going to go hang out in a restaurant somewhere, you should know likely what the topic of conversation is. So if we're in McDonald's, they're probably talking about 6-7 or some other nonsense. But if we're in Waffle House, why, that's a different conversation. I learned this because I had some chicken the other night at the Waffle House, and I was partaking in the conversation with the employee base of said Waffle House. They asked me, because they were having this discussion, what my favorite shoe was I was about to get. And I said, I don't really have a favorite shoe that I'm about to get. I am a guy who has quite a collection of shoes, but I didn't have anything I was particularly looking at. they all whipped out phones like they were whipping out guns. Everybody had a phone pointing. They all had shoes. They were like, we're getting this shoe right here. I'm going to try to have this before the school year start because these look good. They dope. They go with some of my outfits. I'm like, okay. And they explained that to me. You see what I mean? The conversation's probably not the same as it is in your world. McDonald's is a different level of conversation. I think Chick-fil-A is probably a whole nother level of conversation. But I promise you, there's not very many conversations happening at McDonald's about equity. Not happening. Now, he's talking about on paper, right? So he keeps less than $1 million for himself. Same. Okay. Everything else goes back into the business. We were almost alike. Everything else does kind of go back into my business. I guess I try to I guess we're the same. Also, though, it sounds just like every other broke person who says, once I get ahead, it's going to turn around. Except ahead for him is billions. See the difference? That's a big difference when you start thinking about it. I don't know what it's like to have a lot of money. I know one time I did this job and I was making a significant amount of money, and I had more money than I could certainly spend, and I'd bought, when you start making money and you have no bills, you finish college and all that, and you get pretty good money coming in, if you're smart, or if you're not smart, probably not smart, but if you buy the things that you've kind of been waiting and working towards as part of a reward system, you can get that stuff knocked out early. Then when you start making more money, well, you don't need all those things anymore because you've already done it. That's one way to look at it. Now, most smart people probably just don't get those things, but that ain't how I roll because I figure I'm not coming back. I'm not going to get another run at this. So if I want to drive a Lexus, then by God, I'm going to drive a Lexus. Not everybody looks at it that way. They want to get to heaven and give money to their kids. I don't have kids. What do they say? You can have kids or everything else. Now, billionaires say it's not real money. Normal people are more apt to say, my direct deposit hadn't hit yet. Both technically broke. One of them's lying to themselves, though. That's the difference, you see? That's the difference between regular broke and billionaire broke. I saw where the Gymshark founder guy, this dude got all kind of money too. He's a billionaire. He's like, none of it's real. It's not what it seems. Another billionaire jumps in and he says, listen, I still fly commercial and I drive a Honda Civic. Okay. That's easy to say when your fallback plan has commas in it, doesn't it? I don't have that. You got multiple commas in your fallback plan, not me. Listen, I'm not even trying to act like Mr. Beast is lying. I get it, all your money tied up into business. That's cool. I don't think he's operating in the same financial universe that I'm in, though. So I think maybe that's the difference. I don't think he's lying. I just don't think he lives where I live. Well, Mr. Beast says he's broke. He don't mean coupons, prayer, and overdraft protection broke. It's different. Boy, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. And you watch, it's funny too, because I talk to a lot of guys around where I work, and I end up working with a lot of young people, and they'll say things like, listen, if you can get a video, because they'll talk about, because everybody is content. I mean, that's what we do now. Everybody's got their own deal going. And now that we're wearing those Meta glasses and the Ray-Bans and the Oakleys and all of that, you can make, especially if you're in a plane, you can make some incredible videos with that. And now that you have TikTok and CapCut and those things that work together, and then YouTube has some stuff, and Riverside's what I use here, but you can make some edits. Also, I think I saw where here in a couple of weeks, and I could be wrong on this, so don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty close. Apple's releasing some type of subscription where you can have Final Cut Pro and a bunch of their other services. I think it was like $13 a month. So it'd be kind of nice to have the AI features, and they should start getting better and better if you're doing editing for editing video and you want to work on multi-tracks and stuff. I just saw that. I thought it was very cool. I was riding over in Globe, Arizona, and I don't know if you've ever been over there, but maybe you've been to one of these places, but they have a Renaissance fair there, and most of them are known to go for a month or whatever. This one, I'm not sure how long it goes, but a month is too short. I feel like it was there for some 4 to 6 months. They may still be there. When you drive over to Globe and this thing is going on, the interstate is stopped on both sides to let them get in. When you go out to Globe, you have beautiful mountains everywhere. It's unbelievable. And that road is a 4-lane that has a typical speed limit of 55 miles per hour. Now, when you bring the Renaissance Fair in, traffic stops, cops everywhere. You just can't move around. I love Renaissance fairs. Listen to what I tell you. I love Renaissance fairs because everyone there is pretending it's 1542, yet amazingly, they still accept Venmo. They commit hard. I'm into Renaissance fairs on a level that you don't understand. I like turkey legs. I like holding a turkey leg and saying, I leadeth, I goeth. I like things that end in th. It works for me. I enjoy the process. I like the smells of the Renaissance fair. I like that there's no real commitment to accent. No one has a specific, because it was the 1500s, not like we're going to know. Not like we have one guy sitting around go, I was taught only to be the scribe for the 1500s. This was our accent. No one knows. So the Renaissance fair folks just do what they want. I like that about it. I like when I go from one booth that takes Venmo to another booth and there's people walking around and they've got beer on their belt and everything they own around their waist. And here's the thing. I've been a little more involved in these Renaissance fairs than you may think because of working in radio and television. I know some background stuff on this. So when it looks like they're carrying all their pittance around their waist, they are. There's not much else to offer in some of these cases. So they commit hard to the gig. There's one that goes in just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and I went to it several times because of work stuff. And there's a castle over there, and the castle, they sleep like in the parking lot, and they stay for months at the time. And it's always great, too, because they live outside. They don't run to the castle when it's time to pee. They don't cook in the castle. They don't go in the castle. They just stay outside. When you pull into the parking lot to come for the Renaissance fair to see them in their home environment, you're going to wind up smelling things that's not okay. It really smells awful. And so they commit because they're not running to the shower. They don't have one. There's not a bunch of camper trailers over there. No. They got tents. They're not playing games. It is very fun to watch the whole thing take place. And I'll tell you something else. There's not much in this world that will prepare you for watching a night in a chainmail vape behind a porta potty. Nothing else. Nothing in this world can prepare you for that. While I'm on that subject, and I do love the Renaissance fair, do not take this the wrong way, I kind of got a little tingle when the commercial came on TV. I felt good about it. My spidey senses went off, and I went, this is for me. The good Lord's speaking to me right now. The commercial was for the Medieval Times dinner and tournament. Okay? Then the commercial started, and the night was like, this year's show is more intense, more fighting, more action. Bro, it's pretend. Like, you know that, right? We put on crowns, we eat turkey legs, and we act like this is immersive. I don't want immersion. I want consequences. You can't advertise intensity anymore. The medieval dinner, have you ever been to one of these? We need to back this whole thing down a little bit. We're out here eating. Y'all are over there jousting. It's a little bit hard for me to buy. Y'all are not near as committed as the Renaissance people, and that bothers me on a molecular level. It's a problem for me. Here's the other thing. You've got to give it all. You've got to commit. because the lottery is giving away like billions of dollars every other day. Every time I turn around, it's $1 billion. Okay. You think more sword fighting is going to move me? It's not. You are pre-Wi-Fi exciting. That's where we're at right now. I have Netflix. You realize that, right? You have to step up your game. They're like, no utensils, just like the old days. Yeah, and just like the old days, there's a better than average chance somebody in this room is going to die with dysentery before we get to dessert. You didn't bring that in. That's commitment. That's realism. But no, nobody's going that deep, are they? You get credit for realism, when you commit. Bro, that knight has an Instagram. If he has an Instagram, he's not committed. That's not intense. Show me one night with a GoFundMe. Then we know the game is real. Put some skin in the game. Look afraid. At least, bro, you showed up in a Honda Civic. Real knights don't drive Honda Civics. I don't want authenticity. I want accountability. Basically, nothing short of one of you dying at this point is going to make me clap while I eat with my hands looking like an idiot. Plus, y'all smell funny. Now, I'll let you know how it was because I got tickets for next week. Now that I took a breath and feel a little better, let me tell you about something else I've noticed. I started this Bud Ford comedy page on YouTube. And I've also been building shorts with it. I've been working on the process to try to, just to see how it works. And ultimately, all I'm really doing this for is because I want to go back on stage doing comedy, which is what I used to do. I spent a little more time on stage when I was younger. And now I'm like, yeah, I still want to do that. So I'm just rewriting, working on different stuff. I'm taking these stories. I'm not using them for the stage, but I am practicing writing and the things that I like and the way I find funny out of things. And then I'm sometimes taking pieces of these and moving them to the stage show. So it's really beneficial in a couple of different ways. I figured out this YouTube Shorts thing. They sort of feel like walking into a gas station at 2 a.m. Nothing here's real, but I'm going to keep browsing. It's that sort of thing, right? You just get that feel when the shorts come up. And then I noticed that since I have a new account, they've been throwing things at me. And I have other accounts that I've worked with for a long time with weather and things like that. So this isn't my first endeavor into YouTube. But as a new page, I'm now in that group of new users. So I saw new research that came out from Capwing, and it was in The Guardian, and they talked about what brand new users, like in my case with that page, are seeing as YouTube Shorts. Think about this. The first 500 shorts shown to a fresh account, including the one that I just started, gets 104 videos, or 21% of those are low-quality AI-generated content. I can tell you if I scroll the feed, a lot of the stuff that pops up, it's just not real. And then 165 more of those videos were what they consider brain rot. So you're not really opening the welcome mat when you come in or start a fresh account on YouTube. They're dumping junk in your lap just to see how you're going to respond. So that means more than half of the content pushed to new users is either AI slop or digital nonsense. And it's interesting if you look across the entire world, we're not even at the top of the slop and nonsense game. Spain has the most AI slop subscribers overall with 20.22 million people. That is insanity. The U.S. ranks third with almost 15 million people. And the U.S., this is the stat that blew my mind on this when you start talking about slop and just digital garbage that they're producing. Right now, the U.S. has 9 AI slop channels in its top 100. That means we're looking at it and we don't even know. It means it's getting better. Some value there. The takeaway, I think, from all of this was that AI slop isn't a phase. It's becoming the default. It's not just YouTube either. Fake animals on security cameras, AI videos of machinery cleaning whales, entire feeds that are built on content that looks halfway real for a second and then falls apart. My takeaway on this was the algorithm doesn't care if it's good. It cares if you don't scroll past it. That was pretty much it. That's so when I'm scrolling, it is funny too. Sometimes I will be scrolling right along like nothing ever happened. I'll stop, I'll watch a video, and then, especially on TikTok, and then I realize nothing about this is real. And I can go 3 videos in and there's nothing real. But I'll tell you what I do like on these. One, I think we have a whole lot more real options to get to when we follow creators that we like. But I tell you what else I really like on TikTok is I like the ones where they teach me something. I like to go to bed with I know this is dumb, but my last video or two, it'll be like, this is an island, and on this island, there are criminals, and only criminals live on this island. And the maps start moving and all that. It's brain rot, but I sure enjoy it, and I almost feel like I learned something, but then I have to fact check what I learned, and I never really do that. And, well, it doesn't always work out. Thank you for spending time with me today. My name is Bud Ford. That's Bud like the beer, Ford like the truck. Have a great day.